This episode of Moist Meter was brought to you by Raycon. Episode 9 was bad.
Initiating moisture.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really fucking bad. This is a super stinky shitter. This is Game of Thrones Season 8 for Star Wars. The only way Star Wars recovers as a cinematic universe is to just give Episode 9 the Dragon Ball GT treatment, just say, it's not canon. Yeah, that was Star Wars GT Episode 1, not real. I know I said The Last Jedi was my least favorite and the weakest, but at least The Last Jedi had some great moments in it. The Kylo Ren and Rey tag team, for example. There were some great moments in The Last Jedi and some good scenes and visuals, albeit it was a weak movie overall. This doesn't even have that. There is nothing memorable or great about this movie. At every turn it is predictable. No matter how you look at this movie, it's not even well made. It's not just a bad Star Wars movie, it is a bad movie. Objectively, it's not well shot, it's not well structured, the pacing is all over the place. In the first 5 minutes, you visit 4 planets on screen, and you spend 45 seconds to a minute at each one before it shifts to a different planet. It is all over the place. And at every point in this movie's plot, if you ask yourself how or why an important moment happens, the entire thing falls apart. You have to take so much shit at face value, you're just getting golden showered by J.J. Abrams' bad writing. It is not well put together, and I don't even think it all falls on bad writing. I think they wanted to do so many things but didn't have enough time that they just cut out the most important moments of getting to these places, so then the movie ends up just being a whole bunch of conveniences and just absolute nonsensical shit that happens. And I think one thing is going to be clear to everyone who sees this movie. Palpatine was never meant to come back in this new trilogy. That was never the plan. At no point in this movie did it ever get justified how he's here, how he survived, what he's doing. At no point did I think, oh, okay, this makes sense, this is what they were building towards, because it's clearly not. He comes in out of fucking nowhere. It would have made more sense if it was Jar Jar Binks they brought in here to be the big bad villain. This is truly nonsensical, and it's just downright laughable for them saying that this was the plan all along. It wasn't. He actually comes out of fucking nowhere. It would have been more cinematic if he rode in on 15 horses, like space fucking horses, and just said, yep, I'm here to fuck things up. That would have made as much sense as their explanation here. He does not fit in narratively. He comes in for no reason out of nowhere. And you remember Snoke, you know, the big bad villain they set up in episode 7 who was killed off immediately in episode 8 with no explanation about who or what he was? He's given a single line in this movie to explain who and what he was. One line that is about 8 or 9 words. That's what they gave their initial big bad villain. It's just silly. Episodes 1 through 8 become absolutely useless in this movie. They're totally worthless. And this movie completely nullifies the original trilogy. Rey is so incredibly overpowered out of nowhere, she can do anything you ever thought possible in the Star Wars universe. If you saw anyone in any Star Wars media use some power, Rey has it at her disposal in this movie for no fucking reason. It just comes out of nowhere. She even has a power that completely ruins what set up the entire Star Wars conflict in the fucking first place. I'm not spoiling anything, and it's really hard to talk about this without spoiling it. And Jackson, as you know, is the goddamn preeminent prodigy of anything regarding Star Wars. Seen every movie, watched every TV show, played every Star Wars game, including the most important ones, the Lego Star Wars ones. He knows his shit, and he thinks this is the worst Star Wars movie yet as well. It actually does completely ruin the original trilogy. I don't want to give away how or why, but there's something Rey does that throws out of whack what even sets up Star Wars in the fucking first place. And there's no explanation for how she's able to do it, or where she got it, or how it even fucking exists in the universe. When it was established, it doesn't, and it can't exist. It's fucking silly. It's super bad. There is 2 positives. There's only 2 compliments I think this movie will ever deserve. The music. Star Wars music is always incredible, and this is no exception. The score in this, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And 2, God damn it, some of the acting is great. Adam Driver is so goddamn talented. I really think the acting crushes it. I think the characters do really well with what they're given, and they're given some straight garbage. They're given something straight out of J.J. Abrams' hemorrhoids, and I'm well aware J.J. Abrams didn't fucking sit down and solo write this himself. It would have been far worse, but it's very bad material they're given to work with, and I think they do a great job with it. I really do. Those are the only 2 compliments I can give it. There's no memorable scenes. There's no good scenes. There's no great visuals either. It's very generic sci-fi shots. Every single planet, every single starship, the space battles underwhelming. The lightsaber battles kind of fucking blow, which is rare because I think the lightsaber battles have been a highlight in the new trilogy. It's just there's not a lot to like here at all, and everything comes at random. That's the biggest problem. Things are just coming out of nowhere at random. Characters showing up, saying things, doing things, them finding things. It's as if there's always like a puppet master in the back when the characters get lost, just whispering to them, "Hey, go here and do this," and then they do. They get it out of nowhere. They get these. Not spoiling anything again, but towards the end of the movie, the plans are going awry and things get changed up. But luckily, the good guys are able to see through that plan because one of the good guys says, "Wait a minute, I have a feeling," and that feeling turns out to be incredibly accurate and saves the day. Based off of nothing. I don't know why the character got the feeling. It's not even like it was a force-sensitive character who's getting like a fucking force tingle in his penis. Just the character says, "Hey, I got a feeling." They go with it and it works. It's silly. It's bad. It's very juvenile writing here. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. There is so little to like about this movie. There really is. No matter how much you love the characters, and I love the Star Wars characters, the new characters not so much, but that's not really their fault. I think the actors and actresses are talented. They just haven't been well written. They haven't been well developed. But I do like Kylo Ren. In this movie, he's not horrible. I mean, at least he's okay. He's kind of still true to the character they've established, which is good. The rest, though, there's not much to like. The characters aren't given enough to do meaningfully or in a way that makes sense, like with respect to intelligence. I can't spoil anything, but fuck, it's bad. It's just not a good movie. Now, one thing I do appreciate, and I don't think it's done overly well, but the fan service. There's a lot of nods to previous Star Wars movies before they totally shit on them by overwriting what really sets them in motion. There's good nods to some old Star Wars properties. Some characters have emotional moments that aren't executed beautifully, but it's enough to get a response out of people that have grown up with some of these characters and then like to see where they're ending up in their role in the movie and the conclusion. So I do think there are good moments where there is some cuteness between characters that some of us have known for decades. And I think that's nice, if nothing else. And I really can't stress enough how great John Williams is with his music in this. That is honestly just probably the best part of the movie is the goddamn music. Which is sad considering this is supposed to be the conclusion to a story so many fucking years in the making. It's just not a good movie, though. Plugging this into the moist meter, Rise of the Skywalkers getting a 40%. It's a shame. It's a real shame. In their conclusion, they outright nullified half of what made Star Wars' story happen in the fucking first place. It's unbelievable to me. And they do it so carelessly. They do it so like they don't give a fuck, as if it's like a big old, J.J. Abrams just bending over to show fans his asshole. He just slides it in, and I guess he doesn't realize or doesn't care how important that detail was. It's very big what he's thrown in here, and the consequences of its existence throw out of whack all of Star Wars. And I think that's probably its biggest sin, aside from just being a bad movie that has at least 20 different planets across its entire 2.5-hour runtime. And you're constantly trying to remember why they were there in the first place. Oh, they're going there for that. But that didn't work. But then they found out about this, so they're going there for this. Wait, no. They just learned from some dude in the background shouting that they need to go here. So they're going to, that's why they're going there, right? Because that dude was shouting. It's a mess. It's an absolute convoluted mess of a plot that just doesn't work. There's nothing cohesive about it. It is truly a shame, and I think it's going to be a letdown to the majority of people that see this movie. Even if you loved Episode 8, which was super divisive, you're not gonna like this one, I don't think. I just don't see what there is to really like about it. It's also extremely predictable in exactly how it's going to end once it gets to that point. You see what's happening, and it's just not good. That's about it. So yeah. Yeah, the new Star Wars may have been overwhelmingly disappointing, but it's not disappointing? Fucking Raycon, baby. I've talked about these bad boys multiple times, but I can't stress enough just how much I do enjoy them. Not only are they comfortable, it feels like a nice sweet hug from your grandmother in your ear, but they have revolutionized my gym experience because I used to use wired headphones at the gym, which always got in the way of sets and were just genuinely a nuisance. I'd constantly rip them out by accident putting weights down, and it was just terrible. But with Raycon, I don't have that problem. The audio quality is pristine, and they're just as good as other premium audio brands which start at half the price. It is truly a fantastic product that I can't stress enough how much I enjoy. So yeah, if you're interested in Raycon, feel free to click the link in the description to get 15% off your order. Link in the description if you're interested. That's it. See ya.